Hey, and good morning, and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foss, and I'm touching base with you every day during the weekend, sometimes on the weekend. And how are you all doing? I hope you guys have had a wonderful weekend. Today is our Tip Tuesday. It is our Tip Tuesday day, and what are we talking about today? Easy and everyday food photography tips. I like to say, since there's a number to these, the 10 easy and everyday food photography tips. Yes, indeed. That's what we're talking about today because someone last week said, what should Ron? I would love to hear about food photography. And so, guess what? Like we do here, this is a community. So, if you suggest something, we will make it happen if we can. So, we're going to be doing 10 easy and everyday food photography tips for today. And it's just going to help you with your a couple of ways. So, we'll talk more about that. But first, I'm going to say good morning to everyone. And then, well, how about this? I will also tell you about how I could have been shot yesterday at a parade. I was a half a block away from the shooting at the West Indian Day Parade yesterday, and I was filming, and next thing you know, but we'll talk about that. I just want to send some greetings out. Just like I'm glad I'm alive today. How about that? It was something to behold. Yeah, let me stay focused. The first person in the building is Chrissy R. Good morning, Chrissy. Chrissy is in the building. She gets the gold. She gets the gold today. Kelly A is in the building. She says, good morning, everyone. She gets the silver. Ding, ding, ding. I need to have like things flying on the screen, right? Because I can't seem to get this to work. My Apple thing is not working. It's not working. So I can't seem to do it. So, anyways, and then my food compadre. I had a wonderful date last night with Miss Chrissy's Corner. She gets the bronze. Chrissy and I had dinner last evening, and I mean, she's my neighbor. She lives in my neighborhood. And we finally got together, and it was so good to chill out, especially after such a what do you call it, eventful day, and to be able to just chill out. We had a glass of wine, if not two, and had some good food at one of our local restaurants, and that was really cool to hang out with Miss Chrissy. So it was good. It was good, and yeah, guys, it's been quite interesting. Yesterday was an interesting day, to say the least. But let's see who else is in the building. Let's not just stop there. Let's not just stop there. Miss G says, "Good morning. Just finished my Pilates workout." There you go. Chrissy says, "Hope everyone had a nice Labor Day weekend." And we got Mr. Bryson in the building. Are you still in Jamaica? Yes. Yes. Oh, wait, I'm back home. He's back home from Jamaica, Montego Bay. And he said he is recovering. I wonder what you did in Jamaica. Also, who's in the building? Our wonderful Amparo. Amparo is in the building. How you doing, Pammy Pam? And let's see who else. Let's see who else. I see all the greetings. I see all the love. I see all the love to one another. And Adrian's in the building. She says, "Good morning, Adrian. New York City is in the building." And who else is here? Who else is here? Chrissy says, "It was great hanging out with you, Ron. Great conversation after your harrowing day." So yesterday, usually I go to the parade at the end. Like I'll say, you know what? Let me just catch a couple. Let me just go up to the parade and catch a glimpse of the parade, like the ending of the parade. It's like, okay, it's the end of the parade. Let me check it out and let me take a couple of shots just for my portfolio. because it's not like it's something I want to cover. It's not one of my top 10 events that I like to visit. It is probably, and for many years I stopped going because it was so dangerous. There was always a shooting. There was always something happening. And I said, "You know what? Today is such a beautiful day." The weather was perfect yesterday. It was cool breezes, in the 70s. I think around that time it was around 80 degrees. It was beautiful. Well, I'm walking, my buddy's with me. He's in town from Jersey. We're hanging out. My I say childhood, but teenage. We know each other for like 30, almost, yeah, about 35 years also. And one of my best friends. And so we're walking and we're just checking things out, checking people out. He's like looking for the food because he's a foodie, even more than I am. And and we're just enjoying the day. It was beautiful. It really was a beautiful. People were dancing and laughing and waving the flags and having a good time at this, festival, the West Indian Day Parade. And so I said, you know what, let me go live and share the event. So I'm live and I'm sharing the floats, I'm sharing the people, I'm sharing myself walking through the crowds. You can catch it. It's on YouTube. It's on the YouTube, my YouTube channel. So you can see what it is. And then I'm talking to the screen and I said to the folks that I think Dr. Chachi was on and maybe a couple of other people were on listening. And I said, this is an unusually beautiful day on Eastern Parkway. I was like, it is beautiful. It is nice, it's calm, and everyone's having a good time. And as I was saying, no, not 5 minutes after saying the words, I think it is about 5 minutes after saying those words, then I'm walking, I'm sharing, and next thing you know, the crowd erupts as I'm walking towards it. It is coming at me. Like, just erupt right in front of me. Right in front of me, the crowd erupts, and everyone is running left and right and on the side and on the street, on the side street, and I'm knocking down the banners and I mean, these metal barriers. It is mayhem. I'm looking for a tree. I'm looking for a lamppost to get behind. And because I'm in the middle of this walkway, I cannot get to anything. So so I move towards the back of the people that were cooking. I get to the back of where they were at. And people are just running and scurrying. The police are coming down out of nowhere. The police came in so fast. I was shocked. It was just, you saw them. They were racing like two, three. No, so I would say about five police officers running. I said, I cannot believe what I'm seeing. And then the EMS is coming in. They're coming. The EMS was there within 4 minutes, 3 minutes flat. I mean, they were. I mean, obviously it's hard to calculate time when so much is happening. You don't know you can't. Your reference to time is different in panic mode than in regular life. So you don't really know how fast things are happening. But the EMS were there. The photographers that were in the street on duty, because they were on duty. I was just doing my casual thing. They were on duty with their press passes and everything. They go running into the action, and the police are telling them to get away, get out, move, move, move. And then some of the photographers are trying to get there. Some photographers they will risk their lives for a shot. I am not one of those guys, and so that's why. Yeah, I'm a little too old for that kind of craziness. But they were trying to get the photo shots, And some of them got lucky because some of them made it to the when I got home, the New York Post had some of the photographers and their, their photos of the event. And then when I was there, the woman said, oh my God, a man got shot. A man got shot in the head. The man got shot in the head." And I'm just like, I cannot believe this is happening. And it's literally, I mean, I could just look over the barrier and just see what was going on. And 'cause it was literally I was in between the blocks that it was happening. It's half a block away from me. And yeah, and people were just scurrying and and just in shock. And and then I looked at my buddy. I said, "It's time to go." It's just, I've had enough. That was a sign to say it's time to get out of here. And I heard that the parade eventually they recontinued, but it was stopped for a while because and then it turned out it wasn't just one person that got shot. It was six people that got shot, or they say five shots and one person. I don't know if they say that one person may not make it. That's what they were saying yesterday. The guy that got shot in the head. And but, 5 other people got shot as well. So it was, I think, a total of 6 people, but it was 6 or 5. Can't it was a discrepancy in the numbers last night. So, I'm just glad to be here because, I mean, technically, just 5 extra minutes, I would have been on that corner. I would have been at that corner because I was telling my buddy, "We're going to go to Franklin Avenue, and we're gonna make a turn and come back," you know? So our target was that corner. We were on our way to that corner. And, man, I tell you, I am so thankful that we didn't make it to that corner. We were almost there, but the shots rang out. Like I said, we did not hear the shots because the music was so loud that they said no one heard the shots. They said even the people that were next to that when the man that got shot in the head and the other people got shots, they said they could not hear the shots because the music was so loud. And it was scary. Yeah, Kelly A, it was scary. Kimmy says, "Oh no." It was it was the last day of me ever going back to the West Indian Day Parade. There's no project that's worth going to that parade for. There's no job worth going to that parade for. It is not my thing. I was like, I am not. I've gone to many parades in New York City. There is no other parade in New York City that there's always a gun incident. Or, I mean, not every year. Some years they take off. They take a year off, and then it's a gunshot again. It's always something at the West Indian Day Parade. It is it is, as I said yesterday, it is very unfortunate because so many people were having a good time. So many vendors, so many people are there to share this is some of these vendors, this is their only time to make good money. They're out there, they're sharing their foods, they're sharing their banners and their shirts and it's a beautiful event for people to share their crafts, whether they're dancing or they're laughing and hanging out, and they're handing out food and water, and there's a whole ecosystem that's going on. And one selfish person, whatever happened, decides to take out a gun. Why is it that everything must be solved by certain people with a gun? Hey, Mike Young is in the building. What's going on, Mike? Hey, buddy. I'm talking about the parade yesterday and me surviving the craziness of the gun shooting. Um, it was crazy. And I go to the Thanksgiving Day Parade, no incidents. I've been going to the Thanksgiving Day Parade for several off and on for years. I go to pretty much the Halloween parade pretty much every other year. No incidents. A couple of people get arrested for doing stupid things. Nothing. I've gone to the parade march, and I've been to several of those in the as a press person and as a regular photographer, just taking pictures. Never had a gun incident. I've gone to the Dominican parade. I've gone to the St. Patrick's parade. I've gone to parades all over. I go to the what they call the dance parade. They have this parade that's coming. It's probably gonna come up next week. I think it is dance something parade in on the east side. I've been to so many events in New York City. There is only one parade that I am terrified of going to, and now I will never go to. It was the insanity, and they ruined it for so many people. Oh man. Phoebe says, I'm glad. Phoebe says, I'm glad you made it out of there safely. My daughter was out there as well. It was crazy. My cousin's husband was on duty, and he was right there. I didn't even know we crossing paths. I didn't even see him. He was right there as well. And my cousins, we were online today, texting back. We have a family chat, saying how we're lucky that we got away, got out of that unscathed, with no problem, with no incidents. But it just said to me, you know what? Can't go to that parade. Can't go nowhere near the West Indian Day Juve, or what they call it, and early in the morning, or the parade itself is too dangerous. And it's sad because it really is a beautiful event of celebrating the pageantry of Caribbean descent and a diaspora of African Americans and West Indian Americans and Africans in general. I just like one of the gentlemen said, you guys probably saw my video if you saw me filming. He said, we are African. We're African, he said. I said, yes, that's how I like to say it as well. But it was a moment, and I am thankful for missing that corner by 5 minutes. Literally 5 minutes, I would have been at that corner. And it happened 5 minutes before I got there. My prayers go out to all those people that were shot. I mean, I at first I thought it was just one person, and then, like I said, when I got home, I found out it was 5 people that also received, besides the guy that got shot in the head. There were 5 other people that got shot, one in the arm, one in the leg. So, it was just horrible, just horrible. And I see here, Anthony says, the MLK parade in New Orleans was like that. Every year, everyone would get shot. Someone would get shot. It was the complete opposite of what Dr. King stood for. I don't understand why we have to do this. Jamel says, I've been covering it for the past 40 years. I was on my way out to go, but something told me to stay home and just watch it on TV. Prayers for the wounded and young man's family who was murdered. So he died, obviously. He died. The man died. And it was horrible. I had never in my life, I have never been so close to an event like that. I mean, I have all my precautions. Like, when I am photographing anywhere in the city, I make sure that there's a tree, a mailbox, or a light post. So that way I can stand near to it, and it's kind of like covering me as protection. If a crowd breaks out, I have those items to keep me safe. I was doing a live video. Yeah, like I said, you can catch it on YouTube, the video before this, because it was on yesterday, on my StreamYard and YouTube. I was not in the position I was just walking, just casually walking towards Franklin Avenue. and the crowd broke out and was running towards me. Anyway, just wanted to share that with you guys. I'm safe. I'm thankful, and again, my and like Jamel says, our prayers go out to the folks that were injured and the families, and because it's just a horrible. It's just horrible. So tragic, and as I say, my word choice of words, unfortunate. I see here the girls clubs that says the sad thing is that the people involved are probably very young. Well, and it's interesting. I don't know. They may have caught him last night because last night when I was on my way to meet Chrissy, the police cars were moving all. It was flying up Lafayette. They were everywhere last night after the parade. So there was there was a manhunt for him that he got away, and it was crazy. Anyway, let's get back to what's at hand and what matters. Okay, so I see here, Amparo says this is really all because of gun issues here. The NRA and lobbyists are too powerful. I agree. For every, they said there's 3 guns for every American. So that's 900 million guns. There's sorry for the sirens. It's New York. 900 million guns on the streets of America, or in someone's house, or in someone's garage, or in someone's drawer. 900 million guns in America. I always tell people, my family used to get worried when I was in Africa. When I would be in Africa, if I was in Nigeria, Ghana, or someplace, they would like, Ron, are you okay? Something would happen in Kenya, and they were like, are you okay? I was like, Kenya's on the other side of the continent. When I'm overseas on the continent, I never worry. I never worry. I only worry about my life is when I'm home in America. And that is and I say that as a Black male. My my fears, if I gave into them, would keep me in the house. But I don't give into my fears. But my greatest fears are not overseas, in some of the most interesting countries I've been to. My biggest fears is living here in America as a Black man. And I'll leave it at that. Jamel is absolutely. Folks need to be taught conflict resolution. People do not know how to have a conversation. I see here, Kimmy says, yes, Amparo, if Democrats get back in control, they will continue to make efforts to achieve sensible gun laws. That's why we got to vote blue, all blue. We cannot leave one Republican standing. And that's coming from an ex-Republican. I say it all the time. I always got to make myself clause that and put it in the parentheses. As a former Republican, the Republican Party has messed up this country in so many ways. And that's why I use the word former. Okay. So other than that, the weekend was wonderful. I mean, and it still was wonderful. Other than that, like I said, people had a great time. My buddy came up from Jersey. We hung out. We went to see this movie. With Tyrese in it. Tyree. I don't even know the name of the movie. But we went out Saturday and checked out the movie. It was a lot of fun. We're in Union Square. We checked out that movie. What is that movie called with Tyree in it? It's a new movie, and Leota is in that movie also. The late Leota is in that movie. It was a good action-packed movie, lots of fun. I had a great weekend. Other than, like I said, yesterday evening, and then to end my evening, I had dinner with Chrissy. Miss Chrissy's Corner. We had the best. We talked about so much last night. We could have talked. It was getting cold last night. We were sitting out there. I was like, holy moly, it's getting chilly. It got very cool last night. Oh, thank you. 1992 is the movie. Thank you, Fifi. 1992 was the movie I saw on Saturday, and it was worth going to see. It was good. And also, when I go to the movies, it's usually because I'm hanging out with my friends because I can wait for Netflix. It's only because I'm supporting my friends and hanging out with my friends, and we had a great time. And so that's that. Okay, it's almost time for our lesson time. And again, just as a reminder for you guys, I am so excited that this lesson that I'm going to be teaching in a moment, we're going to be talking about what? Essay easy 10 easy and everyday food photography tips. We're going to be talking about that in a moment. But this will also be on ICAB TV. Should I bring that up for you guys? I think I should. Hold on a second. So if you missed this week and you missed what's been going on in my life lately, if you haven't heard, um someone has been watching me on these Tip Tuesday segments that I do with you guys. And they are called ICAB TV. And so they reached out to me last week. One of the gentlemen who's in charge of one of the founders reached out to me, and he's a journalist. He used to work for CNN. He worked for ABC News. Has won Emmys for the ABC for some of his work in media. Has produced many shows. Worked in PBS. A bunch of incredible names here in New York City or here in the United States. But he lived in Uganda and for many years as a subcontractor for CNN. And so he has all this experience of doing networking and television in Africa. So he and some partners have created this TV, ICAB TV, which is for the continent of Africa. So what they did, they reached out to me. He reached out to me in the name of the other partners, and they were like, "We've been watching you, and you are consistent with your teachings and sharings, and you're online every day, and we see your work, and we think your teaching segment will be wonderful for the people on the continent." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then they gave me some, different their perspective on some things and how this could help me as my business model. And we started talking about that. And so I put out two teaching, chopped them up a little bit to get rid of all the extra stuff in the beginning so that way it's just teaching. But yeah, this is where we're going. I am so excited to say that as we do this, the ICAB TV, my teaching segments will be on the African continent television, and they're going in start to make inroads. Their first campaign start, I think this week. I think it started last week for Nigeria. So all the Nigerians out there, if you're listening, all my Nigerian friends from when I visit, all my Nigerian friends from over the years. I will be on this beautiful network called ICAB TV on the continent of Africa. So, guys, that is so. I'll not only be teaching you here, whoever's watching this on YouTube, but I will also this segment will be also for ICAB TV in Africa. And like I said, you can find me there under. Let me just see if I can just click on that. You can see this is my profile. I'm there. That's the first two lessons I posted already. We'll see how it does. But if you know any people in Africa, on the continent, South Africa, Ghana, any other places, let them know that I'm doing these teachings and they can have these lessons for their photography. And because most Africans live on their phones, they do everything on their phones. So this is a great opportunity to connect with more people. And I'm so excited about that. So, with no further ado, today's lesson. Oh, but first, let me just see what you guys are saying. Let me see what you guys are saying there. I see here. Uh, Chrissy says, "We really did. You can tell that fall is around the corner." Um, Anthony says, "My mom is the same way when we travel outside the country. I always tell her mom it's more dangerous in New Orleans than Paris." And I see all the likes, and that's dope from Mr. Michael Young. And Michael Young is going to be on at some point. We're going to get a date for him to be on. He's an incredible photographer, a great brother in the Lord. I say in Christ, as they say, as we church folks like to say, growing up in church. But he's just a great brother, and he has amazing work. And so check out Michael Young's photography. Check out his work on Instagram. I think you will be blessed by seeing his work, and that would be cool too. And I see here doing, she says, doing big things, Ron. And Girls Club says, congratulations. Anthony says, RLP Touch Base Daily has gone global. And MG Young says, thank you so much. And Anthony Rowland says, congratulations. Okay, let's get to it. Let's get to it. So let me pop this off the screen. Let me get us all set up here. So today's Touch Base Daily, Tip Tuesday, we are Tip Tuesday, right? Is all about 10 easy and everyday food photography tips. Now, how did this come about? Is someone last week said, Ron, we should do a segment on food photography. Now, something you probably don't know about me when it comes to food photography, I have what's called a Google account. I have a Google account and I do Google reviews. And I post lots of food photography on Google reviews. So much so, I wish I could monetize it, but it doesn't work that way. I have more than 12 million photography views on Google. Can I say that again? It almost shocks me when I say it. I have more than 12 million photography views on Google reviews. And because I'm such a foodie, I love food. I love photographing food. I love eating food. I love talking about food. I review the foods that I got, that all the restaurants. Now they do give you these like little things they give you for being such a committed Google reviewer. It's not much, but they give you like $10 here, $5 here, something towards a Starbucks coffee or whatever, and or something towards something that they're selling on their page or excuse me, Google. But yeah, so I've reached a level of more than 12 million, heading towards 13 million photography views, mostly foods, um, on Google reviews. And Chrissy says, "Yeah, that's her. That's Chrissy's jams. She does. Yes, food is my love language." And so here we are. This is what so I said, why not use this, especially since there's people here in our country and here in America, and also people that are on the continent of Africa. This would be a good way to make money where you can make money. Stock photo images are not the same as stock photo images the way they used to be in the old days. I remember I am a Getty image contributor. So I've been contributing to Getty Images. I am also an Adobe contributor. So some of my photos that I take with my smartphone, um, I will submit, or some of the some of my other works that are, like the extra stuff that I take pictures of that don't make it to the client's hands. I will post sometimes into my stock work because it doesn't have a person on it. It may have been the food that I photographed. It may have been the way the food was designed and decorated on the table. It may be any of those. So, and back in the day, you could make good money in stock photos. Not today. Now you make cents on the dollar. Back in the day, I would post on my contributor and get like a photo would be purchased, and I would find $100 in my account. Those days are gone. So you want to make a lot of money, you gotta post a lot of stock photos. So there are people that do nothing but stock photos. They take pictures of food, places they've gone, different scenes, and they post stock photos on places like Getty Images, Adobe, and so on. But they make sense. But if you have 10,000 photos, over time these photos accumulate. You can make money over time by taking your, I always call for photographers, your secondary photos, right? So you put them out there. Anyway, so there we are. This is why this subject is important, because it may give you just a little edge when you are taking photos of your food or when you are at an event and you're taking pictures of food. And especially for we photographers who are event photographers, a lot of our clients do ask us to take pictures of the food before the guests arrive. So here we are. Here we are. Easy and everyday food photography tips. I hope that you are going to, this will help you in your pocketbooks if you can use it that way, but most of it for your own personal gratification. Like I do. Like I get no money for doing this, but I love doing it because I just love food. I just love it. Just love it. So here we go. Let's explore some quick and easy and everyday food photography tips to elevate your photos. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned photographer, these tips will help you make the most of your mobile edits. 1, natural light is your best friend. Use natural light whenever possible. Set up near a window to get soft, diffuse light. Avoid direct sunlight as it can create harsh shadows. Can I say that again? Use natural light whenever possible, whenever. Set up near a window to get soft, diffuse light. Avoid direct sunlight as it can create harsh shadows. Now, when I was in South Africa, when I was living in South Africa, I ran into this food photographer. And that's what she was doing. She kept setting up the food by the window. And I was like, what is going on? I was just passing by and she was there and she was a photographer and she was literally photographed. The restaurant had all of these dishes, these beautiful dishes of food set up for her one by one to take these dishes by the window, and she was taking these photos and moving them, and well, we're going to all that, but she was moving them, changing and creating, but she moved them by the window, and I had never seen that done before. And I was like, oh, so this is how people do food photography, because I am not a professional food photographer, but there are professional food photographers. So if you love photography and you love food, this may be an area that you might want to venture into. It is a great, great I've seen some amazing food photographers work, and I am totally like blown away. Next, use a simple background. Keep the background simple to make the food the star of the photo. A plain white or wooden surface works great. So, this is if you're doing it professionally or you want to do it for your photo stock. Kind of like make sure your backgrounds are nice and even, like white, browns, anything that's even toned. Keep your background simple and easy so that the food is the star. Last night I was sharing with Chrissy some ways to take photos as we were taking photos of our food. So there you have it. Also, this is one of my favorites. Play with angles. Experiment with different angles like overhead, 45-degree angles, or eye level shots to find the most flattering perspective for your dish. Right? Right? I see Anthony says, wow, that's huge. I do food reviews, but I don't have photos. I'm in the 10% for every 10 for let me just put that in there. He says, wow, that's huge. I do reviews, but I don't have photos. I'm in the 10% for reviews in my area. See? Now include those photos and you will rise to the top. Okay, so play with the angles. I am always moving around. And my friend Winter, y'all, some of y'all in this community know Winter because it's my travel buddy. When we go to restaurants, Winter is like, she's on it. Now she takes her food photography very serious. And I'm always telling her, you need to do this as a backup business. I mean, she's really awesome at food photography. Everywhere we go, she's taking the best shots. So again, experiment with different angles, like overhead shots. Always go overhead. I always do 3 shots per plate. I go over to the side, and then I like get those juicy shots. I like to get close in and make the viewer feels like they're going to eat that wonderful meal. Get in, change your angles. Focus on the details. Highlight the textures and the details of the food. Use a macro lens, which we all have on our phones, a macro lens, or the macro mode on your camera to capture close-up shots. Here's a little, I'm going to throw in this. This is a good way to interject. On your smartphones, if you have an Android, you probably have a food mode. You can click onto food mode and it gives you the soft background and gives you that beautiful balance so you can really zero in on the food like this shot here. However, there are some phones that do not have food mode on the phone. So what you do is put your phone in portrait mode. Put your phone in portrait mode. If you don't have food mode, put it in portrait mode. And if you put it in portrait mode, it pretty much has the same effect. Okay? So, to take better food photos, to give you like you see how you see this milky background on this the fingers here, and you get the nice sharp tomatoes there, but in the background is blue. It's like that soft, blurry, you know, depth of field for the experts in the building. The depth of field is there. Make sure you put that phone in portrait mode and you'll get the same effect on your smartphone. Okay? There you go. Focus on the details. Next, use props wisely. Add props like utensils, napkins, or ingredients used in the dish to add context and interest. Just make sure they don't overshadow the main subject. Can I say that again? You can move things around. Like for instance, when I'm in a restaurant, I will intentionally move the glass on this side of the plate, take the knives and forks and put them over here. I'll change the plate around. I get it under the light so that the light is right. Sometimes we're all together and Winter will say, Ron, light this up from this side. And she'll say, Nia, light it up from this side. And we're lighting up the food from all angles. We are a crazy bunch when we go out to eat. And we eat a lot. But change those angles. But again, you can use what's on the table as props to show off such a great meal you're having. Yeah, don't be afraid to change your table settings around if you're really serious about food photography. Dive into it. It's a lot of fun. People say, "Ron, you have your watermark on your photos." Because usually my watermarks is kind of like my advertisement. So I have like a little watermark on my Google reviews. So if that people want to know who this photographer is, it says Ron Foster and it says Ron Lewis Photos. You can do that also, but that's another side. That's sidebar. But again, you can move around the table, change it up. Anthony says the Google Pixel has macro. I love it. GR says, Christy, I highly suggest. I'm currently focused on documenting accessibility at stores and eateries. Christy says, I love using portrait mode as it blurs the background so beautifully. Right? That nice depth of field for the professionals. She's saying, thanks for the information. I'll do it to get my name out there more. Okay, here we go. Let's go to the next one. Oh, sorry. Anthony says, can't take photographers anywhere. No, you cannot. I photograph anything. I photograph shoes, everything. I'm just that guy. I'm that guy. Okay, here we go. Next. Keep it fresh. Photograph food when it's fresh to capture its best appearance. For hot dishes, I love this. Shoot quickly before they lose steam or start to wilt. I love when because I go to Japanese restaurants a lot, I go to Chinese restaurants a lot, I go to Thai restaurants a lot, and I've been on cruise ships where they come with the food, and then next thing you know, they open that thing and the steam just bursts out into pandemonia. The steam is everywhere. Or I will go in and just like it makes me crazy because now you're actually showing off the element that the food is in. The steam is rising. You can see the glistening of the food, like, sparkling and making kinds of, the sizzling and all the other stuff. And the little things are popping up and I love it. I get so excited when I see that with food. I see it and I start clicking away. It's like, oh, and then usually the waiter will tell me, don't touch the plate. It's too hot. Don't touch the plate. But I get excited when I see things coming out steamy. But when I go to my Asian restaurants, that's when I get that experience. Like this is of some food at a Japanese restaurant where you have all the dumplings and everything coming out. It's like, yes, yes. See, Christy says, I take photos as soon as the food hits the table. I leave no space, no space. As soon as it hits the table, take the clicks. Okay, next one. You guys get what I'm talking about. All you foodies out there. Edit lightly. Use editing tools to enhance the photo, but don't overdo it. We've had this conversation before. Adjust the brightness, the contrast, and saturation to make the food look as appetizing as possible. Chrissy and I were doing this yesterday. We were talking about her cloud photos, which is another story. We could do an episode on clouds alone. How to take pictures of clouds. There's techniques on taking pictures of clouds, but this is one of those techniques that you can use for both. Edit lightly. Use editing tools to enhance the photo. And I always mention all the time. You heard we did the editing last week. Remember we talked about editing last week, our last episode. Make sure you play with your editing tools. You have the greatest camera on you at all times. Now, there's lots of cameras out there you could have, but the old saying is, what's the best camera? The one you have with you, the one you have on you, the one you carry is your, and everyone has a camera on their smartphone. And in most phones today, if your phone is younger than 10 years, well, I didn't say 10 years, there's editing tools already embedded in your phone. Play with those sliders. Go to your edit. I always tell, like I was sharing with Chrissy last night, the first thing you do is click the automatic adjustment. Click it. It's like a little magic wand. There's a little magic wand symbol. Click on your auto first. See what the computer comes up with. The computer analyzes it and makes all the edits for you. However, it's not perfect. You then now go back into those edits and start adjusting your sliders. More highlight, less highlight. More contrast, less contrast. More shadows, less shadows. And you see, you get what I'm saying. So use your edit tools. You have edit tools. They're in all of our phones. They're on our tablets. They're even on our computers. Use them. Use them. And you can produce some of the most incredible photos. I've often mentioned that in National Geographic now these days, there are some essays and stories, and those photos are done with smartphones. So there's no complaint. There's nothing to stop you from creating great photos. There's nothing to stop you. Okay. Back to the food. Back to the food. Next one. Tell a story. Create a narrative with your photos. Show the process of making the dish, the final presentation, and even someone enjoying the food. You can take a picture of someone lifting that burger and putting it into their mouth. You don't have to put their whole face in it. You can just simply get their nose above the burger and them holding the burger, the chin below the burger, hopefully, and then them bite, no, before they bite. Just get it. Tell your story, because what do we do as photographers? That is our purpose. We are the visual storytellers. We tell stories. That is why we take photography. That's why we do photography. That's why we share photography. We are telling stories. You are a storyteller. Your first mission in life as a photographer is to tell a story. Tell your story. Okay, now you can tell I get really passionate about that. I'm very passionate about storytelling. Chrissy says, thanks, Ron, for going more into depth about the editing tools. They really do make all the difference. Absolutely. Absolutely. Chrissy says, I haven't yet, but I like to. I was thinking about creating some kind of compilation book of my photos. You can do it. You can do it, Chrissy. We talked about it last night. Look, there's a book for everything. If you want to do it, make it happen. Make it happen. Hey, Omar. Welcome, Omar. Girls Tip says, the Girls Club says, these are great tips, Ron. Look at that. Because everyone, I think most of us in this room, we photograph our foods. We love it. Most of us are foodies because birds of a feather flock together. We are all part of the same tribe. Here we go. Next one. Now, for the professionals in the room, use a tripod. You don't have to be a professional to do it, but I'm just saying, because there are professionals that may want to do this as a job. You might want to do this as a job. If you're hanging out on the continent of Africa and there's restaurants all over the place, you can say, you know what, can I take pictures of your food so you can put online to your online audience? Well, you may have to go an extra mile. The lighting might not be up to par. So you may have to use a tripod. Here we go. A tripod can help you achieve sharp images, especially in low light. It also allows you to experiment with different compositions without worrying about camera shake. Right? So, guys, if you want to do this as a job, if you want to do this as a business, if you want to do this on the side hustle, you can do it. Go out and get a small little tripod, a little tripod that you can just sit on the table or outside the table, put the food on the table, by the window, go into someone's restaurant and say, hey, I would like to photograph your food. I would like you to have better presentation of your food online. Can I help you? The first one is free. If you like me or not, then you don't have to hire me. But the second one, you're going to have to pay for it. Right? Right? Sell yourself, sell your skills. I guarantee you, with just these things I've just told you today, you can make some money as a high side hustle if your passion is photography and you love food. This could be your side hustle. I hear side hustle. Can I hear the ching ching? You can do this. You can do this. So use a tripod. Sometimes the lighting condition is too low. So you gotta bring down your speed so you can get more light into the camera. Right? But you need a tripod so there's no shakes. Keep a clear, beautiful picture for your client, for your audience. Chrissy says, cha-ching, is right. We're about to cha-ching. Anthony says, my tripod has a boom arm that comes in handy for overhead photos or shots. That's right. Cha-ching. This could be your side hustle. This could be it. Especially if you love food and you have a camera. Don't underestimate the power of the camera. Next, practice makes perfect. What do we say in photographer? If you meet any person that's been photographing for years, the thing they will tell you, practice, practice, practice. Keep practicing and experimenting with different techniques. The more you shoot, the better you'll get at capturing mouth-watering food photos. That's right. Practice makes perfect. Don't just roll out of bed and say, I'm going to take a picture today and then sell it. No, it doesn't work that way. You got to practice. You have to practice. Lord knows I made thousands of mistakes on food photography. And like I said, this is not my profession. I just love doing it as a hobby. It kind of like frees my mind. I do event photography, but it still helps me because, again, like I said, when I do my photography for events, I got 2 or 3 of them coming up this month. The first thing they tell me all the time is like without delay, Ron, make sure you get the food. Ron, make sure you photograph the food. And so I take my little camera, I go over to where the food is setting up, and they set the food up. And then I go from angle to angle. I look at the light, I see the light coming in, I move around the food, I take pictures, and then I deliver to my clients with their event photography, food photography as well. So my smartphone photography, doing 12 million photos on Google has paid off. Yeah, right? Think about it. 12, I can't even believe it. 12 million views of my photos on Google reviews of food photography. But that's because you keep doing it. You keep doing it over and over and over and over again until you get it right. And then you build a system based on doing it over and over again. You realize, oh, I need to have this, I need to always have the light over here. I always need to have the camera on this shutter speed. I need to have this uh, in the background. I need to position the plate in this angle if it's an oval shaped plate. I need to do it if it's a square plate, then I need to put it at an angle this way. The more you do it, the better you become at it. So, guys, practice makes perfect. Are you enjoying this food tip or this food? So, it is these food tips, food photography tips. I hope you are. If you are, please put it in the chat. Let me know. Let me know if you are enjoying this. And hold on a second. Hold on. There we go. Wow, with someone. People know not to call me during this time. So here we go. And look at these photos. These are not my photos. These are photo stocks. But again, these could be your photos as photo stock. I have an account that allows me to use photo stocks. So I'm really paying for it, but I get to share it with you. Look at these samples of food photography. Look at that. You see, do you see what we're talking about? This is what food photography is supposed to look like. So invest the time. Invest your time in taking great food shots. Look at that. You see how it just, you got the sharpness and it right here up front, and then the depth of field, it starts to drop off. Remember using that portrait mode or using food mode in your smartphone. Make sure your f-stops are right. My f-stop is usually at 5.6, 4.8. Yes, I'm using the fours. I'm using the fours in the 5.6 area when I'm photographing food. Yeah. So if you are an event photographer out there like I am, this will step your game up a little more too, because they weren't even expecting. Like if your client does not ask you for food photography, that would be rare. But if for every event I photograph, they ask for food photography. So technically, I am a food photographer. I just don't do it as a specialist. I'm not a specialty food photographer. But you see how these photos look? Look at these photos. Look at these photos. Okay. That's it for this week's Tip Tuesday. Feel free to add your personal touch and experience to these tips in the comments. If you are someone out there that loves food photography like I do, but you are really doing it, it's your profession, please, you can add into the comments in this video on this page and share your tips. So that way, when people come to this page, come to this video, they will get even more value for coming to this page of how to take pictures of their food. We all do it. Most of us do. Here's G says, I always get the food first at events. There you go. See, there's another event photographer. Chrissy says, oh my G. Ron, this was amazing. Thanks you so much. I see the applause coming from Mr. MG Young. That's right. That's right. And Chrissy said, now that is beautiful. The corn shot, ooh, ghoul, the goals, right? He says, I'm about to photograph my oatmeal. Anthony's crazy. He's about to shoot my, I'm about to photograph my oatmeal. Chrissy says, these tips are giving me life. Such great information that I can utilize right now. See what happens when you suggest things? We go for it in this community. Girls Club says, Ron, how long does it take you to take food photos before your customers' events start? I am using if my client's event starts, let's say 10 o'clock in the well, let's go with a regular evening shot. Their event starts at 5 o'clock in the afternoon in the evening. Let me just keep that up there. I will make sure I'm at the event an hour before the event starts because I know there's prepping that's going on. So I don't just roll up when the show starts. I'm usually at my client's event an hour before the event starts. That way I can get photos of things that are happening behind the scenes because I find that my clients don't normally think in that way. And when I provide that to them, they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you got those shots. So it's kind of like over expectation. What do you call it? You just give them the big, you just say, hey, this is what I'm going to do, but then you over deliver. I try to over deliver for all of my clients, especially I do a lot of high end events. So it is very important that I'm there early, one for security reasons too. Usually the governor's there or the mayor is there or some dignitary or, I'm usually have to be there early. But while I'm there early, I'm doing my rounds. I'm walking around, I'm seeing who's important, but I go in and I take pictures of that food because before they even get to me, I've already, if the food is already done and set up and ready to go, I've already photographed the food. And they're like, oh my gosh, thank you, Ron, for doing that. Thank you so much. It just makes you as a event photographer stand out from the crowd because the and I hate to use this word. I'm gonna say it, but I don't like it. It's the only thing I have in my brain to use. The regular Joe photographer, sorry, Joes. The regular Joe photographer is not going to think about those little details. So as a professional photographer, it's my job. Usually also when my clients are talking to me about their event, I will run down a list of things they need to have. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't think of that." I said, "That's why you hire a professional." There's a difference between a photographer that just shows up to just photograph. You want in whatever field you're in, you want to be the professional. You want to give your clients answers to questions they never thought of. Because guess what? The next event, they're hiring you again because you know what it is to be the event photographer. Right? So, yeah. So, when it comes to food, I am usually there early to photograph that food. I'm sorry that took a long time to share, but I just wanted to make sure people understood um, the process of being an event photographer. And it does have the event of being a food photographer but not like the commercial food photography. There is a commercial food photography field that when you look at commercials and you see how everything's decorated and all that stuff, that's a whole nother, that's a specialist. But we as event photographers, we do food photography. Okay, I see some more in here. Let's see. I see my trainee pilot says beautiful pics. Felicia says, I learned a lot. Thank you, Ron. And I see, thank you, G. She says, under promise, over deliver. There you go. That is the business term to say, to say it. Anthony, as a photographer, says, I shoot a birthday party Saturday night. I got the cupcakes, birthday cake, tables, scraps or scapes. Oh, tablescapes, and the food buffet. Yeah, you got to do it early. Get in there early. Felicia says, when I was catering, we often forgot to get pics and replied on the guest photos. That's right. Um, yeah, G says there are stylists involved with a few commercial food photographers. Yes, there are definitely food stylists. There's a profession called food stylists. You may want to jump into that. They decorate the food. They put the oil on the biscuits to make them look a certain way, and they use glue and it's all kinds of stuff they use to make food look good. Okay. Okay. So I think we got it here. We all learned something today. We all got it in. I think we all walk away better. When I do these, I get better also. Right? Because I'm researching this stuff to how to present to you. I'm going through this over again too myself. I'm learning too. I love teaching. The more you teach, the better you become at what you do. So there you go. There you have it. I love this. This is great stuff. Chris says, I like to arrive to a restaurant when it first opens for the day so I can also get nice pictures of the restaurant's interior before people get there. Oh, that's another subject. Would you guys want to learn how to do interior photos? Because part of my 12 million photos are also interior photos of all the restaurants I go to. Yes. So on your Google reviews, don't just put the food in. Let's talk about interiors. You want to do that next week? How many are in favor of interior photographies for the interior photographies for the interiors of restaurants? I do it all the time. As a matter of fact, I do interior photography because, one, I'm an interior designer, so I know how to shoot the way things should be photographed because it is my background. I am an interior designer. And so when I tell my clients, oh, they're like, wow, you're an interior designer? Oh, we got the right guy. Yeah, so I do interior design. I do interior photography as well. So, guys, I think we'll do that next week. I think we will. Okay, you just gave me a new topic for next week. Thank you, Chrissy. Chrissy, you're on a roll here. Girls Club says a food blogger I follow used to go live during his photo shoots for his food content. It's a very detailed process. Yes, that is a professional food photographer. Yes, there is a difference. Okay, Anthony, Dr. Tachi says, hi, Dr. Tachi. Yes, it was at the Dallas Cowboys Club, Swanky. Okay, there we got them. Okay, I think that's it. It's time to get out of here. I got to let you guys go. I have an event to go to, so I may be live later on. I am going to be at a high school that I designed. I designed their graphics their graphics design department. I designed the space from scratch. We put the new tiles in, the windows, the desk. They have all these amazing Apple computers. So I am going there for a photo op this afternoon. I'll be there around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock is the event. So I'll be there, and they're going to be photographing me, and I'll be photographing them because they're photographing what my work did. For those that don't know, like I said, I'm an interior designer as well. And so I designed this amazing space, and they're gonna have some media there, some people there, some guests, some board members, all this stuff. And they wanted me to be there for this. They're gonna do what's called the cutting of the ribbon today of their amazing graphics design department. I'm so excited about my wonderful school that you guys have helped also. This community has helped the graduates of this year for their prom and everything. So this is a new year starting today. And so I'll be there in a little bit. So I will probably go live and share some of it with you if it's okay. We'll see how that all works out. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Those kids have an amazing design lab to work in and create amazing modules of marketing, and it's going to be so cool to see these kids light up. I cannot wait to see them see their new space. It's been like under the wraps, even though they have to go buy the doors over the year as I was designing, and they had the contractors going in and out and doing their thing. And I popped in once in a while just to, but I'm excited. So those are the things that make me happy. And so these young high schoolers are going to have a beautiful graphics design lab for them to create amazing work. And so there we go. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow is our water cooler Wednesday. So we'll be talking about all kinds of stuff tomorrow as we gather tomorrow at for our Wisdom Wednesday and water cooler talk Wednesday. Okay, guys, have a great day. What do? We live life like we mean it. And what else? We focus on what matters. Okay, guys? I will see you tomorrow.